Hey guys, per usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. So it's another week. It's another article by Olga slamming Bitcoin in a fear, uncertainty, and doubt scenario. Let's take a look. What does she write this time? How does it help anybody other than Bitcoin? Okay, the Bitcoin whales, 1,000 people who own 40% of the market. Let's just stop there. Let's check the data. What do we see? Let's check it out. So here's some data through BlockLink from Bombo Club, basically showing 40% of BTC ownership is 25,000 people, not 1,000 people. Okay, let's agree to disagree there. I don't really know. I mean, I think it's wrong of them to say this in the headline without any evidence whatsoever. Let's move on. A few massive investors can rock it with a shrug. This is actually a great GIF. I'll give them that. I mean, like I said before, propaganda, it's good propaganda. It's what I would want if I was propagandizing. Is that a word? Propagandizing? Something. Okay. On November 12th, someone moved almost 25,000 Bitcoins. Who was that, I wonder? Do you guys know who that was? I mean, it's pure speculation. There's some evidence for it. We're all pretty sure it's Roger Ver. Okay. Olga's buddy. Worth about 159 million at the time. He sold at 6K, lost a bunch. I think Novogratz bought most of what he was selling to an online exchange. This was Bitfinex. They don't want to mention Bitfinex, of course. The news soon rippled through online forums. What is this a link to? Hold on. Okay, so this is another link to an Olga piece. I already know what it's going to say. I don't really need to read it. It's great, you know, that's what you want to do. You want to get people involved in a website. You link it to others. You cross-link your stuff, right? No problem with that, but again, it's Olga. We know what it's about. What's this one? Another Olga piece, I'm guessing. Olga, okay. Yeah. All you need to know about from the point one, okay. I think this is actually a decent article. Yeah, I think it was a decent article. Okay, so traders arguing whether it meant the owner was about to sell the digital currency. Okay, we were all pretty sure that if you send that many Bitcoins from 2011, which is what it was, Days Destroyed was massive on that, you're going to sell the coins. You know, you don't usually move those to lend. And that's basically what happened. Holders of large amounts of Bitcoin are often known as whales. Oh, yeah, that's good. And they're becoming a worry for investors. I don't know about that. I don't have any evidence for that. I don't think you're going to give me any evidence for that. It's pure speculation and opinion. We'll keep going. They can send prices plummeting by selling even a portion of their holdings. Well, if the November 12th event was any evidence for that, it doesn't really last. Even before that, there was this entity known as the Bear Whale who sold, I don't know, around 500 price-ish range. I don't really remember, 400. A lot of coins that just sat on the book and it got eaten. You know, you can scare people all you want, but if the demand is there, it's not going to matter. And those sales are more probable now that the cryptocurrency is up nearly 12-fold in the beginning of the year. I will agree with you here. As price goes up, more people are going to sell. Shocker. Newsflash. Holders aren't going to hold their whole lives. You're not going to die a holder. And if you do, you're stupid. I'm sorry. You know, no one is here. Everyone's here to make money, right? For the most part. I mean, there are other reasons, obviously, but power, influence, women. But for the most part, it's to make money. And you can't spend Bitcoin many places at the moment. So you're going to have to convert it to cash. And you're going to do that through an exchange. Okay. About 40% of Bitcoin is held by perhaps 1,000 users. Again, zero evidence for this based on current knowledge. The rich list at current prices. Each may want to sell about half of his or her holdings, says some guy, a manager of some firm. Okay. Bloomberg Profits. Oh, he's an expert. That's what that means. We gotta let people know that this guy's an expert. Listen, Aaron Brown, I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure he has kids that are turned out to be great people. A wife, very loving, you know, a mother and a father who treated him well. I don't know anything about this guy, but clearly it means nothing to me. I'm not in the financial world, so it doesn't really matter anyway. What's more, the whales can coordinate their moves. Yeah. Or preview them to a select few. Yeah, I'll agree with that, and that does happen. Market manipulation doesn't not happen. It happens definitely a lot. It happened more so when China was involved. Not much happens anymore, but it's funny, this seems to be exposing Bitcoin Cash's market manipulation, specifically Roger Ver, Jian Wu. more than anything without saying it directly. Many of the large owners have known one another for years and stuck by Bitcoin through the early days when it was derided, and they can potentially band together to tank or prop up the market. Again, you're talking about Roger Ver here. Like, it's not a surprise, okay? It's basically like he wrote this article and had sent it to Olga to, like, edit, okay? I think there are a few hundred guys, says Kyle. I recognize the name. I don't recognize Multicoin Capital. Probably all can call each other and probably have. Okay, yeah. One reason I think so, at least some kinds of information sharing are illegal, yeah. Because Bitcoin is digital, not a security. No prohibition against trade and group. Yeah, okay. I mean, we all know this happens anyway. It's okay to say it. I don't have any problem with that. And then cash is out. I was searching for Bitcoin Cash references. They're in here, by the way. Price goes up and then cash is out in a few minutes. Yeah, I mean, if you want to really tank the price, you release a bunch of FUD, you send a bunch of money to exchanges, and then you just buy lower, right? If that's your goal, or if you just want to sell, whatever you want to do. I don't know why you would FUD and then sell. If anything, you would sell OTC, which is off an exchange so that nobody can visibly see that you're selling. To sell visibly means that you're trying to send a message, because you could have done much better OTC. In Ver's case, the price is between 15 and 19,000 the past couple of days. He clearly could have done better waiting or selling OTC. Regulars have been slow to catch up, yeah. So many of the rules are still murky. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Traders not only pushed the price up, but also went online to spread rumors that might count as fraud. Again, talking to Roger Ver Bcash crowd. Interesting. Very interesting. Bittrex, we all know and love, recently wrote to one of its users warning about pump and dump groups, aimed at manipulating prices. Yeah, that happens. It's bad. It's not a good thing. The law might also be different for other digital coins, depending on the details. Blah, 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 securities or not. Yeah, I mean, for tokens and ICOs, it's more of a bigger deal, especially securities. That's a whole other ballgame. Asked about whether large holders could move in concert. Consort? I don't know how to actually say that in this. Roger Ver, here's the quote from the man himself. A well-known early Bitcoin investor, a self-made millionaire before Bitcoin, said in an email attached to the article document. I suspect that it's likely true, and people should be able to do whatever they want with their money. I personally never had time for things like that, though. Right. Right. As in any asset class, okay, Ari Paul, I know that name from Consensus and Twitter. Good guy, in my opinion. As in any asset class, large individual holders and large blah, blah, blah can collude to, yeah, okay, so this happens. In crypto, such is extreme because of the youth of these markets. I agree. So if you're trying to manipulate a pond, it's way easier than trying to manipulate an ocean. Even with Bitcoin's 200 to 300 billion market cap, the ocean is still small because of the number of exchanges available and how siloed they all are. And when the network is the way it is, it's easy to skew prices in one way or another just based on the way exchanges are running right now. Recent rise in its price is difficult to explain because Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. Okay, that's a separate video, but I disagree. Launched in 2009, pseudonym K blah blah blah, blah blah blah, Bitcoin, but it's only worth someone willing to trade for it. Greater fool theory, obviously. Making it prey for big shifts in sentiment. I agree with that. Like most hedge fund managers, specializing Sumini constantly tracks trading activity or addresses of rich lists, basically. And things like Monero prevent this from happening, which is why Bitcoin is going to need confidential transactions eventually, or it's just going to go away. Because there's enough of it that's going to be tracked to the point where you can't send anything confidentially anymore. I mean, this is an extreme, or non-confidentially anymore. This is an extreme case, but it's definitely a use case for Monero, a use case for confidential transactions, or coins that have the ability to do confidential transactions. And like she's saying here, it's not anonymous, it's pseudonymous. So, if you know your address, if you send something to somebody, you can track it from there. We saw that with the Mt. Gox coins. Those were tracked all over the place. When he sees activity, he immediately calls the likely sellers and gets information on trading plans. Some funds end up buying one another's holdings directly without going into the open market. This is actually an interesting strategy. that I'd like to see implemented for retail traders. This probably won't happen. It takes something out of my skill set to do, but interesting nonetheless. Some funds end up buying one another, but okay, investors are generally more forthcoming with other investors. I'll agree with that. We all kind of know who one another are, especially in this field. I mean, I'm not even a financial guy, and I know most of the people who've been trading just based on what I've been in here. We help each other and share notes. We all just want to make money. Okay. Ross says gathering intelligence is legal. I agree with that. Just farming data, basically. Ordinary investors, of course, don't have, multimillionaire taking their call, track addresses, they're ultimately dark. Whales plans, there's no transparency. Some Bitcoin lawyer in securities business, everything that's material has to be disclosed. In the virtual currency world, it's very difficult to figure out what's going on. Yeah, I mean, this is FUD for crypto in general, not necessarily Bitcoin specific. Ordinary investors are at a greater, even greater disadvantage in smaller digital tokens. Yeah, for sure. You're talking about pre-sales, you're talking about pre deals, deals behind the deals. I mean, knowing what I've seen about the ICO space, it's not pretty behind the scenes. What you see in the front is, it's like, I don't know the analogy, like Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain, you know? Bitcoin is the least concerted ownership, so it's Spencer Bogart. Yeah, I agree with that. Another good guy. Top 100 controls 70% of all. Okay, somebody with some actual data, finally. Some other person, Sonnerborg, again, popular, known figure. While Ether, the top 100 addresses, control 40%, top blah 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 control 90%. So obviously there's an accumulation issue here. It's no secret. Ethereum wants to go to proof of stake. It's really going to benefit those early holders. Many large owners are part of teams running these projects. And yeah, again, how do you deal with distribution, accumulation, fair distribution, whatever you want to call it? I don't know the answer to that. Some argue that there's no different than established markets. Yeah, a good comparison, early stage equity, similar to those equity deals. Yeah, I mean, this stuff happens since time began, right? Other investors say whales won't dump their holdings because they have faith in the long-term potential of the coins. And I think that's, for the most part, true based on talking to people for a while. They're hoarders and holders. And they're not going to, like I said, I have an opposite sentiment of everyone else. If I feel, I don't want to hold my entire life. I want to be here. I believe in it. I want the fiat system to collapse, obviously, but I don't want to hold Bitcoin forever if it means I can't spend it eventually. I believe that it's common sense that these whales that own so much Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. I mean, it's funny because Ver is probably the top holder. If him and Wu, have got to be the top two holders other than like Satoshi of Bitcoin Cash. So, let's mention that. But that, of course, isn't in this article. They don't want to destroy one another, says another guy who lives in Prague and trades coins. But as prices go through the roof, the calculation might change. Yeah, I agree with that. Especially with these OTC deals, you're seeing big numbers changing hands now. That didn't happen before. John Bollinger mentioned that it looked like somebody was trying to corner the market on GDAX before futures in order to mess with and manipulate price. We'll see. But the bottom line here is that I have no evidence for any of this. No, it's not necessarily illegal for big holders of some crypto to discuss trading with one another. That's put small buyers at a disadvantage. I agree with that, but I don't want to scare retail people from not getting into this. I mean, when I got in 2013, there was even more of a concentrated pool of people, mainly just early miners and super tech-oriented people. Okay, so this article, not as bad as I thought it was going to be, other than the lack of evidence in Roger Ver quote, and they're obviously citing Ver and his tactics. Don't want to mention any of that. I mean, where do you get the idea for this article? And this is obviously bunk based on available data. Let me know what you think. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter, Telegram, and happy trading.